Hey, Steve Zonardo here with Treviso Realty, back again, segment 4 with Gonzalo from Spark Financial. We want to talk a little bit of, like, kind of highlight some of our success stories with clients that, that wanted to buy properties out there and were rejected by, like, say, the big banks, and then we were able to kind of like finesse a deal and get them approved and get them into a property. The one that really stands out is our clients. I don't want to mention any names, but it was people are transitioning now into retirement ages. They want to buy a property. They want to live 6 months, let's say, in the warm weather and 6 months up north. And then ultimately they found this amazing property. They've gone through the big banks and they were rejected. It's almost like they didn't spend enough time on the deal, looking at all the information to get it approved. Thankfully, they called us and we kind of pulled back. We rescheduled. We kind of looked at the file, put it all in order, and then ultimately, you guys got it approved.
Correct.
Got them the financing, and now where are they now?
Now they're sitting pretty over in their house in Fort Lauderdale. They're going to the beach every single weekend. But what was interesting about that file, they got rejected by two big banks in Canada. They finally reached out to us, and essentially their file was different because they owned a couple Airbnbs here in Florida, believe it or not. And with that, they were renting out short-term rentals, and the bank was able to use that as the income.
As income, okay.
So the Canadian banks were essentially, declining them. They didn't want to look at that. We're able to do that. So that brings another point. If anyone owns Airbnb, short-term rentals, for example, you can use that as income. Obviously, it has to offset the monthly mortgage. But here in Florida, it's very attractive, the Airbnbs, and you have houses that could net $500 a day, a night, and imagine how much you can bring in per month. So if your mortgage is $5,000 and you're bringing in $12,000 a month, it's a no-brainer, and we can definitely use that as income.
That's amazing. So that was one success story. Another one is actually clients are in town now. You met with them yesterday. I've been dealing with them for the last couple of weeks. We signed a deal 2 weeks ago. It was conditional or contingent on the viewing of the property because I sent the video to them, but they want to make sure of the area. Again, this is another client that are transitioning close to retirement. They're in their early 60s. They want to have a property more for themselves, but they also want to create some sort of like cost-free in a sense, where it was basically what we're going to do for them now is, because we have a property management company also, is to do like seasonal rent for them. So we can offset, make them like $16,000 to $20,000 a year, like rent it out for like 6 months, and then that money offsets their expenses and they get to live in this property for free. And that's another deal you guys just did now for us, which is great. And again, success. Like they're happy. Ultimately, it's November 1st. Up north, they're under snow currently right now. And if you kind of see, this is Southwest Florida, and it's like 88, which equates to like 30. So
what's the temperature in Canada?
Oh, it's going to be, well, it's -2. So I don't know. What does that equate to? 30s, right? 32? 32 is 0, right?
Yeah, 32 is 0.
Yeah.
So it's approximately like in the high 30s, high 30s right now. So it was
Low 30s, yeah. It's probably 28.
Oh, is it -2 today?
Yeah, it's cold as fuck.
We could talk about one more program if you want.
Yeah. What's the program? You want to add it to
The
the
success
segment?
story, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Talk about the SCR?
No, I was gonna do the asset utilization.
Okay.
Yeah, because some people just don't have jobs and they have a lot of money, but they don't want to spend cash on their house. So what you do is, for example, should we do?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So that's great. We're so blessed and happy to have amazing clients, and we're obviously happy for the opportunity to give us the opportunity to buy them and then get them financed here in Florida. But you were saying there was another
Success story. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman. He had a lot of money, about 1.6 million in the bank actually, and he did not want to use all of his cash to essentially buy the house. He wanted to save some, and there was a lot of banks, rejecting him, obviously because he actually didn't have a job, and they want to see income, but he had a lot of money in the bank. So there's this program called asset utilization, and they take the total amount you have in the bank, and then they subtract the total down payment and closing costs. So let's say it's $200,000 in total. So you're looking at 1.4 left over. Then they divide by 60, so 5 years, and that's essentially how much you can qualify per month for a mortgage. So that would equate to like $22,000 a month.
Oh,
you can get a mortgage on a house for probably $2 million.
So do they got to lock that money up? That it's in reserves, or
It's in a bank account.
that they're okay? How about if you use the money the next day? After you get financed, they don't have
No,
any
that's
control?
it. Yeah, once you close, they know you have money in the bank, which that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I guess, lenders are okay with it because they see they have a bunch of money. They're not gonna default on their mortgage.
Yeah.
So they take a risk, and that's just the program that that lenders have started doing.
Is that for foreign nationals too, or just American?
You could do that for foreign nationals as well.
It's quite amazing. You guys have so many like better programs here, like specifically like that, like an asset type mortgage where yes, a lot of people have cash in the bank if they retire, but they have all this money, and clearly, if they got it there, there's a reason why it's there. So
Correct.
they kind of like take a chance on the person. That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, and going off that, another program we have is the DSCR loan, which has become very popular.
What is that?
So essentially, the rent DSCR is for short-term rental or long-term rental, and it's for investment properties. So the amount that you are netting on the rental has to be 1.25 higher than the mortgage payment.
Interesting.
So just easy numbers. Let's say your mortgage payment
Let's say it's $1,000. Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
The rent has to come in at $1,250, and that's almost it. You don't need income. You don't need There's no verification of anything. They just want to make sure that the rent's coming in.
So
and
2,000 is 2,500.
2,500, correct?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So a lot of people that are interested in putting 50% down, their mortgage payment will be obviously lower because they're putting 50% down, and the rent they're netting quite a bit more. So it's able to, get done.
I think with that program, I heard about it. So there's not much to it. Like they don't look at your income, they don't look at your credit score or stuff like that. It's basically
yeah.
based off the property.
Exactly.
They're invested on the property rather than
Yeah.
like you as a person.
Yeah, so
awesome.
1.25 is typically the standard. There are banks that go to 1, so it literally has to match the mortgage payment or more, and the interest rate will be a little higher just because of that risk.
Nice.
Yeah.
But at least it's good. Like as an investor, like I remember one of my earlier gurus, like a guy I was investing in real estate with, like again, the guy, he's probably about 30 years older than me. And what he said to me, its most important thing is getting the mortgage. If you know the property is gonna have a net return, you know the property is gonna be a great investment in the future, get the mortgage at a higher rate. He to be honest, like he would actually go towards the B and C banks rather than deal with the A banks because it was just an easier process.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want the bullshit. He's like, I'm gonna pay 1-2% higher than the average rate, but at least it's like bang bang, everything's done, and get the property, and away we go, right? We start the investment process because it's like if you sometimes you deal directly with A banks, they kill so many deals that if you look at the long term, if they killed like 2 or 3 deals, and then you fast forward 10, 15 years down the road, and those things are worth 3 times the amount of money that you were originally purchased them at, like how much money did you lose? Sometimes we get stuck on the small thing, talking about how much am I paying on this rate right now. And again, I'm like that too. I'm a little bit paranoid about everything, but it's like, but you always look at the longer picture too, because if it's a good property and you want to get into it, why not get into it? As long as obviously it's a profitable investment, like it's cash positive, then ultimately what's the difference, right? 1 or 2% higher, you're still in good standing order.
Getting in the door.
Yeah, that's the most important, is to hold assets. Like you look at all these billionaires that carry billions of dollars in debts, and that's, they buy a building, we think what they're paying in cash. No, it's like probably 20% down, and the rest is finance. Just how we do it, just on a much smaller scale. So I think we need to think more like that. Right?
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many rich people actually, borrow money from the banks.
1,000%, 0% down. A lot they're like wild folk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. We'll end the segment. We're good with that. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please reach out. All our information will be below here in the video, and we'll get you on the next segment. Have a good one.